It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Guys, I spent like all the money for the commercial on these new teeth. So once again, I had to shoot it on the iPhone. Go to Yeezy.com.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Yeezy continuing his last couple of weeks of extremely weird behavior. There was his Super Bowl ad, which was just him in what appears to be a dentist chair getting caps, but they looked fake, and then referring people to Yeezy.com. But what people found when they went to his link that, you know, a year ago or 2 years ago was selling those weird slipper shoes and other things was just one item, Quanell. It was a T-shirt with a Nazi with a swastika on it, not the flag, but just the swastika. Now, I'm sure at some point he'll try to spin it because, you know, the swastika was co-opted from Indonesian and Indian and Buddhist culture, and it was a symbol of love and hope that was co-opted by the Nazis, but now it's pretty much universally recognized outside of parts of Asia as a symbol of hatred. And Kanye has most recently said things in support of Hitler and Nazis and just this incredible, I don't know if you've seen it, but in the last 2 weeks, this incredible tide of bile and weird expletives that he finally, apparently Musk censored him or throttled him because then he started putting up a bunch of porn. And then after the porn, you know, throttling by Musk on X, he then deactivated his account. I think Kanye is finally losing his mind. I think it started when his mother passed untimely from a cosmetic surgery. I think we are seeing the end of the end with him.
Well, I hope and pray that we are not seeing the end of Kanye West or Yeezy or Yee. I hope that we're seeing, by God's grace, a reformation of our brother that is still come. He is a musical genius, a great musical talent. But I agree with you, the brother mentally and psychologically has not been the same since the loss of his best friend, which was his mother. And now once she was no longer in the picture, he was now being led by female women in his family of the Kardashian family. And you see now our brother has been doing things ever since that very point that have been completely outrageous. But maybe
so is it
the
genius,
evil,
it's the evil white women
but
that are
maybe
to blame?
the genius, we both know the story of the Kardashians.
I'm asking you.
Every black
say what
man,
you be brave enough in your rhetoric to say what you mean,
every black
Quanell.
man that them white girls hooked up with took an absolute downfall. They took a professional basketball player, an NBA champion, a strong brother, Lamar Odom, and made him start smoking a crack pipe. They took Mr. Iron Man, Mr. Decathlon himself, Mr. Strong on the cover of the Wheaties box, Bruce Jenner, and made him put on a dress and cut off his male organ, put on lipstick, and don't ever want to see a man again. These are the same women that have destroyed the lives of many men who have come into their lives. But back to Brother Yeezy. Maybe this brother's attempting to take back from the Nazis, the white supremacists, and the Klan members and those who think like that and support and promote white supremacy. Maybe he's trying to take that symbol back and give it back to people of color, because the swastika was never the original symbol of Nazis. That came from, like you said, Indonesia, India, and different parts of Africa. It was a symbol of peace, tranquility, joy. It was a symbol of being bountiful. But why is it that they could take something that was for good and turn it into evil? Now the world associates it with evil. Maybe Kanye West is saying, I'm taking it back from those evil racists and I'm putting it back in the hands of the people. That very well could be.
I knew that was going to be your spin. That's why I mentioned it in advance. So when he's praising Adolf Hitler, he just trying to put a positive spin on the Fuhrer as well?
I did not really hear what he had to
Oh,
say
so
about.
you're
Let me
just
say this.
making stuff up.
Let me say this. Hitler
You're
was a
very
great
good at
man.
that.
Hitler was a great man. Let's be clear. Hitler was a great man. If we put it in absolute context, Adolf Hitler took a country that was at the bottom in ruins and in desolation and made it into the world's #1 superpower. But remember, hurricanes are great, but that don't make them good. Tornadoes are great, that don't make them good. Earthquakes kill thousands and be great earthquakes, that don't make them good. He was great, but he was wickedly great, but he sure as hell was not good. So if you put Hitler in context, you understand the entire magnitude of such a wicked figure.
I am often disgusted by things that you say, right? But I just sit over here and I mean, that's part of the gig, right? But when you sit there and you say that Hitler is a great man, and and then you try to give context. I don't mean a good, wickedly great.
He was great,
No,
wickedly great.
He was a monster, and he took a country that was in a financial depression. They weren't at the bottom. Germany was never at the bottom until after World War II. That then fractured that country after trying to commit widespread genocide. And a genocide you probably don't think happened.
No, I do believe it happened. I absolutely
I'm glad
believe
you evolved
that
on
genocide took place. I do believe that Holocaust took place.
He's not a
how
great
can we
man.
condemn
He's a
Adolf
monster.
Hitler as a monster
Because he's a
when
monster.
you got men in America who were leaders of America who murdered and massacred millions of black people in the transatlantic slave trade, and we built monuments to them. We celebrated them and gave them holidays.
No doubt that
so how in the hell are we going to condemn
transatlantic
Adolf
slave trade was
Hitler and not
horrible.
these demons right here in America?
I mean, well, here's the thing. What you want to talk about is so do you think those guys were great too? Do you think the people that
founding
colonized
fathers,
the world and went,
those founding fathers
the Dutch that
did
went
some
to
great
Africa
things in
and
America,
worked with the Africans
but they were
to capture
wickedly
other
corrupt and
Africans
immoral
do
and
horrible
ungodly.
things to them? They were great too.
Let me say this to
Right?
you.
The
The founding fathers of America did some great things, but they were wickedly great men.
The fact that you were trying to give a
They were
false
wickedly
equivalent,
great men.
There were plenty of founding fathers that were originally against slavery. You pretend as if it wasn't a big issue.
I mentioned those who were not against it. I mentioned
it's
those who got
interesting.
rich from it. I'm
It
talking
is-
about
it
those
is
who had sex
interesting.
with slave women,
It is-
had kids by the women, and put their own kids in slavery. I'm talking about those founding fathers that we still celebrate in America
and
today.
the story of Thomas Jefferson is far worse than even that. If you read what he wrote, right? Because the foundational documents of individual
Abraham
liberty,
Lincoln, too.
Hold on. The foundational documents of originalism or liberty, all tied to Thomas Jefferson, while at the very same time, right, Sally Hemings was not just his wife's slave, and then she died and he started a relationship with Sally. Sally was actually his wife's half-sister because his father-in-law had raped Sally's mother. And so it is so horrible, and I'm all for talking about it, but horrible to his group of slaves that he didn't free even until he died. Horrible stuff, but in no way compares to Adolf Hitler. And to try that false equivalence
let me tell you why I
is
disagree.
awful. And more
according to
importantly,
white historians, not black, white ones, who studied the transatlantic slave trade from Africa to America and the deaths of black people in America, they say a conservative estimate is between 25 and 30 million lives.
No doubt.
25 and 30 million lives. But you want me as a black man to pay more attention to 6 million lives in Europe, but ignore the 30 million right here in America.
Yes, because I think that when you were
how in the hell are they more valuable than the 35 million right here in America?
Your anti-Semitism is showing. No, I'm
really?
talking about in the
the
last
Semites
100
are black
years,
people.
In the last
word
90,
Semite is a black
and
word.
Again, more racism coming from you, no surprise. But at the end of the day, this happened in Europe less than 100 years ago, right? And we're talking the transatlantic slave trade, of course, what 1600 to 1866.
So what are you trying to say?
Hold on, historically.
So we should just forget and move on?
But slavery in itself, because you just want to focus on that, and you don't want to.
We talking about America now.
No, we're talking
Europe.
about slavery, right? So slavery in and of itself was part of human history. There were tons of white serfs. The majority of Europeans in Europe over those same hundreds of years were serfs with no property rights and nothing to show for it, and incredibly impressed. Not like slaves, but adjacent, right? And then, of course, you had the Barbary Coast where a lot of white sailors, millions, not nearly as many, but millions, were captured and put into slavery by nations that were of blended race, but most certainly not white. And then, of course, you had the participators in the transatlantic slave trade.
So you want to try to whitewash America's wicked history by trying to take me on a world tour of other folks who've been enslaved. Well, guess what?
Let's talk
My
about the
ancestors suffered that right here in America.
Let's talk about
and we still deal with the vestiges of that racism and abuse right now today.
Transatlantic slave trade.
So don't tell me a damn thing about another country like we're going to skip over America.
That a small ship of Dutchmen went to Africa and just captured people on their own.
Ship.
Okay, at the end of the
Small
day,
ship.
there were where does open
What
slavery?
You mean small
hold
ship?
on. Where does open slavery exist today? Right. Largely in Africa
no,
and the Middle East, right?
That's a lie.
You literally have slave auctions
That's
in
not
Libya
true.
going on, right?
When Muammar Gaddafi was in control of Libya, wasn't no slavery.
Well, okay, but I'm talking
when
about
Muammar
today.
Gaddafi was in control of Libya, there was no slavery.
So we have
but why is it when America helped kill him, then in came slavery?
We have a tremendous amount of slavery in this world that still exists.
So you don't want to talk about Libya for real?
No, I'll talk about Libya for real. But right now we're talking about your crazy comments about Hitler, and we originally were talking about Kanye.
Hitler was a wickedly great man.
Back it up. Let's get back to the Kardashians. The Mr. Kardashian, Bruce Jenner, still has, or Caitlyn Jenner, excuse me, still has the penis, right?
No,
hold on.
No, ain't what I see. Nope.
Oh, you said he cut
He's
it
a
off.
woman. Stop.
Right?
He's a woman.
Hold on.
So is he a woman or not?
And she apparently covered that up for years because of internal debate. And the Jenners, I mean, the Kardashians had nothing to do with it. You talk about Lamar Odom.
You didn't watch them
Lamar
shows?
Odom was philandering.
You didn't watch them shows?
Lamar
They
Odom
beat the hell out of Bruce Jenner and made him turn into Bernadette.
Philandering and doing crack. Lamar Odom was kind of a trash human.
Lamar was okay until he hooked up with them.
And
when
Kim,
they got through with him, he was sucking on the crack pipe, and mine was completely gone.
And I don't know how we can blame anyone.
And you and I both know that's America's first whole family.
Anyone.
You and I both know the Kardashians, America's first whole family.
I will tell you, I've only met 3 of them, and they were all very nice.
That's
very
why
nice.
you're talking like
no,
that.
they were very nice people. And I say,
that's
Kanye's
what it is.
music
You got your lap
probably.
dance.
They're not prostitutes.
You got your lap
They're
dance.
billionaires,
I
right?
don't mean them prostitutes, some hoes.
I know they're white.
Let's tell the truth.
They're white women.
I don't care if
they're
they're
white
billionaires
women
or
who
not.
love black men.
They
oh
use
my God,
the
they're
coochie
horrible.
to make that money.
Okay.
And I agree with you, sir. Like Phil Slim said, Bishop Don Magic Juan, and also Pippin Ken and the 40
Would
Laws
you
of
be such
Power.
a misogynist if they
You know what they
weren't
said?
white?
They said coochie is sell when cotton cone won't. But
Okay.
I tell you this, the Kardashians are America's first prostituting class who made $1 billion from
So to
it.
be clear, you're praising Hitler, much like Kanye.
Not praising Hitler. I'm condemning a wicked man, but I'm bearing witness that he was wickedly
and
great.
you believe that Thomas Jefferson was as bad as Hitler.
I
let's
absolutely
just
do.
Narrowly,
Absolutely do. Just as wicked.
So if Thomas Jefferson and the rights
Andrew Jackson, we can name them.
Right? Should we? You hate America?
What I'm saying is this: if we're going to condemn Adolf Hitler for his wicked acts, his evil, well, then why are we not condemning many in America who are quote unquote celebrated to this very day?
That's great.
Who were just as wicked and just as evil? They may not have killed as many millions, but they participated in the murder and the Holocaust of millions of black people in America.
That recognize the horrible realities of the institution of slavery. There are plenty of Americans, or white Americans, who think we need to do more to provide more economic opportunities for rule-following, law-abiding. You're weird about reparations because you don't think people should get checks. You just think
I'm not down with
organizations
individuals.
like.
Let me say this.
You just, hey, give the new Black Panthers money, which is really just give me money.
Don't do
I
that.
need a new G-Wagon.
I said
but
grab the
don't give it
most
to black
brilliant
people.
black minds and
quite
put together a commission and let them come together and determine.
Great black minds.
I
Like
don't want to
Hitler,
be in that room.
Because
great black minds. Hitler was a white man. That's y'all.
I understand, but you were
if we're
calling
gonna pay
Hitler great.
reparations, we need the best and brightest
can
black
we talk
minds
about
to
Yeezy?
get into a room
So
and
you
determine
think-
the best way to make that
Can we
payment.
talk about you think Yeezy is selling swastika T-shirts not because he loves
could be.
Hitler, but because he's promoting love?
I don't think
and that
Yeezy don't love Adolf
was
Hitler.
ruined by Kim Kardashian.
I don't believe he loved Adolf Hitler.
He said he liked Adolf Hitler.
I believe that Yeezy is mentally and psychologically unstable.
Oh, so it's not that he's promoting love.
But he's a genius
it's
too.
because he's a
He's
crazy person.
He's a genius too.
No one's saying he's not. Great
but
musician.
But I believe that the man could possibly be in this context. trying to take back a symbol that belonged to his people
Absolutely
originally.
not.
And take it back from the racists. Because the swastika didn't belong to white people. That came from people of color.
Nazism is taking off. I don't know if we have time. We got some white guys walking in.
We should have talked about it.
You know what? After the break, maybe we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we should have talked about that a little bit more, because them white boys with them swastikas march through black neighborhoods. We got that tape. Do we have that tape? I wish we could roll that tape. Them white boys, the real swastika lovers. You want to talk about these and not talk about them.
Well, you think that, wait, hold on. You think the white boys are the real swastika lovers?
Oh, they love the swastika in many ways.
Maybe they're just trying to take the symbol back from the Nazis.
No, they stole already. No, they promoting Nazi ideology.
Okay.
Place in Cincinnati, and we, all minority groups, are all standing together, and we need to stand together to prevent this from happening in the future.
Outrage off of I-75, where some flags displaying swastikas and hate speech were hung over the interstate today. About, what, a dozen or so people?
Yeah, about that many. You just heard from the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Cincinnati reacting to not only the hateful display, but also the nearby residents of Evendale and Lincoln Heights who showed up to protest the neo-Nazi demonstration.
Brady Williams is live after talking with people that live there.
Yeah, so by the time we showed up, there was a Jeep that was smashed to bits right about here in the parking lot, and we're told that that was because there was a lot of anger over what they saw on the bridge just over there. They saw hatred, and they saw racism, and they say that there was a lot of hurt over what they saw here.
Tried to elevate myself and hold myself to a level of responsibility and accountability and charity and business ownership that I could be proud of. And I got to stop at a stop sign and somebody called me the N-word.
Eric Ruffin stared down a group of people holding Nazi flags and guns just a few hundred feet from his business. Anyone who drove along I-75 near Evendale Friday afternoon saw the same thing.
Officially letting you know there is racism in America.
Residents of nearby Lincoln.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, that was a news story about in Ohio, the state of Ohio, that several, maybe a handful, 10 to 12, I counted 11 at one time, white supremacist Nazis who went to a bridge, an overpass, to celebrate and promote white supremacy and the Nazi flag in the heart right there of a black community.
That's a video we were talking about at the end of last segment.
Yeah, that's the one that we mentioned that I want to discuss, that we should have discussed before, but we're doing it right now. These are the real lovers of the swastika. These evil racist demons who took a calculated risk to go to a freeway overpass that they know is in the heart right there of the black community. Pull up in a U-Haul, jump out real fast. The police find out about it. The police go to protect them. And some of them were armed with assault rifles. I would want to say to the brother who was on the story and who was interviewed, who started crying, black man, stop crying. Stop shedding tears in the face of brutal racism and hate and white supremacy. Take that same energy, get mobilized and organize your people for self-defense. We have no more time to shed tears as black people when we see that type of racism. They're doing it now all across the country. Just a couple of weeks ago, they were in Washington doing the same thing with the Hitler salute, yelling, "Hail Hitler." You see these videos now coming out since the re-election of Donald Trump. All across America, these little groups marching with white supremacist flags and yelling that we love Donald Trump, etc. But I would say to my people, now it's not the time to go and hide. Now it's not the time to run and get under covers and hide under bridges and lock our doors. And what I found was ironic. They went to a Jewish leader in that city and got her opinion about what some white supremacists did in a black community. Where were the black leaders that they interviewed since this happened in a black community? I got a problem with all of that, but the time is out to cry about situations like this. We need to send those racist, no good, dirty the right message. You coming all hood with them guns like that? We'll meet you with the same proper legal technical equipment and meet you on Front Street. You want to bring them guns with your Nazi flags? Well, next time tell us you're coming. Don't pop up. because some of us got just as many guns as you do, if not better.
So you think it should have been a shootout?
Let me tell you something. It should have been them meeting real black men who are prepared to meet them. I'm going to say it again. If those Nazis think that they're going to come in the black community with guns and waving Nazi flags and we not going to meet them with force, they got another thing coming. What they should have met was black men who are well-trained, prepared like the new Black Panther Nation, and deal with them on Front Street. I dare you come to Texas.
I'm always interested in your focus. First and foremost, last segment you tried to defend Kanye selling a swastika because he's a black man, so you see it as a brother and a homogeneity, so you got to make up some nonsense. I'm a white guy. I see this video, and I see 10, 11 absolute moron, evil idiots, and in no way would ever try to support anything they do, although I think everybody has a right to protest, right? And this was not in the black neighborhoods you suggest.
It was. It was 1 mile away from the black neighborhood. 1 mile, less than a mile.
It was 1 mile away, outside.
Over the bridge.
But right. So it wasn't in the black neighborhood. You're just lying.
That's
it
a
was
damn
in
lie.
Cincinnati,
You
Ohio.
don't tell me that 3/4 of a mile ain't a black neighborhood.
Hold on.
They ain't go to a white neighborhood and do that.
I let you talk
They
for
didn't
like
go to a
5
white
minutes,
neighborhood to do
right?
that.
But here's the thing. No, their behavior was atrocious. You've glossed
trying
over
to
the
send a
fact
message.
that people that were upset about it, African Americans, destroyed some poor innocent person's Jeep and got and said justified it because
Well,
they were mad about the
they thought it was
That
some white
doesn't
guy who had
matter.
left his
There's no
Jeep.
reason to
They thought it
destroy
was one of the
someone.
white guys who
But
had
it
left his Jeep.
wasn't. It was some innocent person. And this is the disgusting thing. We have evil protests not breaking any laws, responded to by vandalism and destruction. And then we have protests where people are vandalizing everything, and we're acting like it's just protests. Maybe
Man,
we
you don't
all
come
as
like that.
reasonable people
Look,
should
let me
just
say
be like,
this.
let these idiots do whatever they want.
We don't cry
But
no
let's
more.
not.
Don't cry no. When they come like that, stop crying.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.